Hello everyone, this is Grace. It is November the 30th, 2019, and I wanted to say a few words about works. And today we're going to be looking at Exodus 20, verse 15. Thou shalt not steal. Now, it's a given in today's society that you should not steal. And if you do steal, you're met with any number of disciplines. You could be rebuffed, looked down upon. If you're caught, of course, you could be thrown in jail, fined. All types of man-made laws that say, thou shalt not steal. You see, because we are not really looking at it from a biblical perspective, or at least it doesn't start off that way. It really doesn't start off that way. We look at it as from a perspective of, well, you're taking something that doesn't belong to you, you're hurting another person. But in actuality, if you and it's not necessarily wrong to look at it from that perspective, but we are going to talk about the biblical perspective here today. You see, we're not always able to see the repercussions of our acts when we defy the will of God immediately. They happen within us. You see, if you steal something and you get caught by the law, they'll take you, fine you, throw you in the slammer, you get locked up for it, you lose your freedoms, this, that, and the other, all kinds of things where you can gauge right from wrong. But in the Bible, Yahweh doesn't do that, you see. Yahweh tells you what's right and gives you the choice whether or not to obey. He tells you, don't bow down to other idols. Don't behold them. Don't worship them. Because he knows that whatever you look at, whatever you focus on, that's what you're going to become. And so he simply tells you how to be righteous and to focus on being righteous. So when you steal, it may be that you're afraid of the law, but the moment you steal, you have taken a step away from God, from Yahweh. You've hurt yourself. You may not be able to see it, but you have hurt yourself in a way that is very difficult to rectify. In fact, the only way to rectify it is to start doing good. So you steal the first time and you got away with it and you're feeling quite proud of yourself. I got away with it. And I got something for free. And then you steal again. And this time it's easier. Actually, the first time you steal, you might not be that happy about it. You might be, if you're like some people I know, you're like, oh, I got to stop this. This is so wrong. Da, da, da. And then you work your way up to that. Man, I got away with it again part. Yeah. And then as you steal again and again and again and again, it gets easier. Well, why does it get easier? It gets easier because you're hardening your heart. You're hardening your heart to what is right and what is righteous. And eventually you find yourself making up excuses as to why stealing is right. Yeah, they're crooks. They don't deserve this money. They stole it from somebody else. They ought to be happy that I'm in their store at all. I bought stuff from this store. I paid for this in my taxes. You've come up with 1,000 different reasons in order to justify your stealing. Because you've hardened your heart to the truth. Why do you think in the Bible where it says about Yahweh that he hardened the heart of Pharaoh? How do you think he did that? He did that by telling him the truth. He gave him evidence that he was God. He showed him the truth. Pharaoh at that time had a chance to accept it or deny it. And by not accepting it, He stepped away and hardened his own heart. It was his choice, but God put the truth before him. He had a choice to accept it or deny it. All Yahweh did was tell him. All he did was show him, give him evidence, prove to him that he was God. And he decided, I will not accept it. The same as a thief. And his heart got harder and harder and harder. The more he rebelled against God, the more determined he was that doing unrighteousness was somehow righteous. That's the way it turns out. So you may see something as stealing, such a little thing. I mean, especially if you get away with it, but that's not the way it works out. When people have affairs in their heart, they know in their heart that it's wrong. And their spouses know too. When they see them, they can tell something's different, something's wrong. Because every single time you step away from God, every little step that you step away from righteousness, the punishment works from within. Not like man's laws where they come and trap you. You are always caught by Yahweh. Always. Now, we're not going to talk about how Yahushua has made a path for us to cleanse our consciousness of sin. That's not what this is about. It's just to let you know that you are always caught and you are always punished. Yahweh doesn't need to throw down a bolt of lightning in order to punish you for your sins. It's instantaneous. Until, of course, you have hardened your heart to the truth and will no longer accept reason, and you justify your unrighteousness. The Bible calls it searing yourself to the truth. Their hearts are seared. It's something like that. Maybe I'll talk about it in another video. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. I just want you to think about it for a moment. If you have decided that man's laws are more righteous than God's laws, I just want you to consider that. Is it okay to steal because you don't get caught by the police? I mean, you have a chance to prove your loyalty. You have a chance to look upon God and acknowledge his righteousness and acknowledge him as a God who knows right from wrong. Or you can just say, hey, there's no repercussions from the police. There's no law against not keeping the Sabbath. Therefore, it can't be bad not to do it. I mean, if it was bad, shouldn't I get struck down by a lightning bolt? What about all these rich people that don't keep the Sabbath? Justifying bad into good, if you're a Christian, doesn't work, because we have a better way that has been shown to us. Whether or not you choose to accept it is entirely up to you. But it's there. And do not think because justice isn't swift, that justice will not come. The more you walk away from the truth, the easier it becomes to walk away. Until eventually you have hardened yourself to it and you will no longer accept it. Yahweh has a law, and he has put that law there for your edification so that you can walk in his ways and behold him and become more and more righteous. If you choose to put another idol before you, you're still doing works. You're just not doing the work of God. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. I guess that's all I have to say. Yahweh bless.